Hey everybody, welcome to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan. Tonight we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw for October 2nd, 2017. No Raj tonight. Raj was actually at the arena in Denver checking out the show live. Matt, what did you think of tonight's Raw?
I think there's a huge pop, and I think there's a trending hashtag as we speak developing called hashtag huge pop for no Raj. On Wrestling Inc. podcast tonight. Guys, get that hashtag going. Huge pop for no Raj. I'm
I know, it's
joking.
so rare. So rare. It's like the grown-ups aren't here watching us, reining us in.
I know. What do we do? What can we do here?
Showed up tonight prepared to do an entire hour about just listing off people that would have been a better surprise than Kalisto in that last segment.
That was such a fart in church.
Oh my God. Bad. Just what? Like, really? You build it up that much? Oh, there's a new Cruiserweight coming. He's going to challenge Enzo. This is going to change everything. And it's the guy that was getting his ass kicked by Elias a couple weeks ago.
Who else could it have been, though? Like, who were you hoping it was for?
In a perfect world, this was how they bring Austin Aries back, but that wasn't happening. But that would have been huge.
That. I would have killed awesome. For that. Yeah, it would have.
They could have brought someone up from NXT, even if it was Hideo. It would have been like, okay, this is kind of cool. We're giving him something. I would have even taken the joke. I would have even taken James Ellsworth coming out there. Would have been more like, okay, well, this is. I'm curious where this is going. It's weird and stupid, but you have my attention.
What's weird is I like watching Kalisto work. It's just, but it was no surprise. He's on the roster. He's always. He's been out for a while or whatever, but nobody cared. Yeah,
it's you can't hype it up like that, especially because the WWE, one thing that they do pretty well actually is surprise us now and again, especially with debuts. And I think that to have it in that main slot, that last slot of Raw, just what a way to kill any sort of swerve at the end of the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate because all in all, this was laying the groundwork, this episode of Raw. We're setting things up now for TLC. We've got, of course, SmackDown has Hell in a Cell coming up this Sunday, but TLC is not far behind it, and that's the last pay-per-view before SummerSlam. Wow. So they started off with the entire roster out there, of course, doing We Stand With Las Vegas, which was a very nice moment, and everyone was quiet. Thank God no idiot yelled something during that.
I saw some of the clips throughout the day. Like, I'm not going to lie, I started crying. I really did. I started bawling for a minute there because of just the fear.
Oh, absolutely.
The fear in their voices. You couldn't see everything perfectly clear, obviously. And for people to be shooting this, oh my Lord, like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
I would have crap in my pants and out of there quicker than anybody. But I honestly did. I'm not going to lie. I started crying. You could feel for those people. You could hear like I said, the fear. Yeah. The honest to goodness fear in their voices, and it was so friggin' sad, man. But good on WWE again. People are like, oh, they take advantage of these horrible things to make a buck. No, they don't. They're Vince McMahon considers himself like the biggest patriot in the planet, and anything that happens in our country, good or bad, he tries to make sure that WWE has their own acknowledgement of it, and this is no different. I thought that was a cool way to start off.
Yeah, I like that. I liked having the entire roster out there, including Vince. I thought that was a very nice moment to start with. Yeah. The audience, thank God, was respectful. Because that's the worst part of it, Matt, is that Vince tries to be super patriot, and then some asshole in the crowd yells Chris Benoit or some shit like that, and it just yeah, it was good. Wrestling fans behaving tonight for a change. So after that, we opened the show proper, video package, recapping, bringing things up to speed, and then opening the show with Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins. So they teased this last week. This was a knockdown drag out, and of course, Braun went over Seth. But what did you think of the match itself and that decision to rebuild Braun this way?
I like it, but not at Seth Rollins' expense, especially not at the expense that they're just reforming the Shield.
Yeah.
What in the hell are they thinking? The whole point of Roman getting beaten down and getting the heat, put on him like the way they did, would have been the Shield reunion would have been way better had they not been totally killed like that and buried. Granted, you could say, well, they're two tag team wrestlers. No, they're not. Those two, they're tag team champions, but let's be very clear. Those are two main event singles acts. At least they have been. And they will be again when it's their turn. You know what I mean? Because I know that's the way WWE thinks. They're like, oh, well, a big, strong singles act could always beat, a singles tag wrestler and then his partner down the road as well. And it's no slack off the tag teams, whatever. And as long as they don't lose as a team, that's all that matters. Yes, it does matter. It looked horrible, in my opinion. And when they reformed at the end, it just wasn't the same as it could have been. It was still a cool moment at the end, but it wasn't like they're going into the match, just the two dudes that just got jabroned by Braun, and I'm a huge fan of Braun. I think they have done different people, but we do complain that they use these enhancement matches with like nobodies, and why can't they feed Braun this guy or that guy, his little bit more name value? Well, they gave him some huge name value.
Oh yeah.
So I just think the timing of it wasn't good, and Seth did such an amazing job. For the record, I would have killed to work him, especially after watching tonight, because Big Man vs. Little Man match is one of my favorite stories to tell, and I'm always trying to be inventive on how I would do it. But having a little guy with all those kind of ideas of the bobbing and weaving and up and over the ropes and was awesome and so original. Like, he did so many original David versus Goliath spots where, swing and miss and, making Braun try to catch him was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and they made it go on for long enough that I don't think Seth looked bad at all, but just an odd choice, I think. I know they want to rebuild Braun quickly, but for what? To what end at this point? Yeah, I'm curious what they do with him for TLC. So we came out of that, of course, with Braun standing tall. Ambrose came out to the rescue, and then Sheamus and Cesaro came out, keeping that feud going. That's one thing that was very clear tonight. They're not switching that up anytime soon. Coming back from that, the Susan J. Komen promo. Of course, this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the WWE is taking part as they always do. Okay, so then backstage, the segment with Mickie James. It's such a stupid joke, but I got to admit, I laughed my ass off at the Depends in the walker in her locker room. I thought that was...
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, maybe because I'm the same age, so I don't think of her as that old. I really don't.
Well, me too, man. Yeah, I think I'm 6 months older than you are, and yeah, I think Mickie is young-ish still.
Yeah, and definitely she can still work that way. That's for sure. But yeah, it was a funny joke.
Yeah, so it's good they're keeping that alive, and we'll talk about that match in a minute. But I was really impressed with the direction they're going with the storyline, and surprised, which is always nice. But we called this last week or the week before, man. So it was Elias versus Titus O'Neil. He's graduating, working his way up and through the Titus brand.
Again, he's in a holding pattern to some degree, I'm assuming. And he's got to still keep getting over. Yeah. And this is where a lot of young guys, I don't want to say, yeah, I do want to say, lose confidence in themselves a little bit, where they lose the confidence of the office, more importantly. When they get put in these moments, like that second step or third step on their way to becoming a bona fide star, with whatever in between program they're in, it's where they can be made or break. I've noticed over the years, it's always been that way. So he's got to really, really do a lot, because he's got to carry a really lame ass, what's his name? Titus.
Yeah.
And Titus, I think, is entertaining, but I'm just saying, as far as the general perception of him, nobody thinks he's ever going to beat nobody. So he's got to go out of his way to really, really carry his end as well. Which is a lot to ask for a newcomer, but I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, Elias keeps growing on me more and more. I think he's getting more inventive with the music he's doing out there, the way he's insulting the crowds. He's starting to get a little more confidence, and I think it's showing. So we got the promo tonight heavily again for Asuka. They're doing multiple promos. Can you remember the last time they teased a coming soon talent on Raw in multiple segments throughout the night?
No, I'm sure someone will correct us, but no.
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
They're really building this up, which brings us to the next match. And I got to say, I think I know where they're going with this. Okay, so Nia Jax versus Mickie James tonight. Mickie did win by DQ. Alexa interfered, but Mickie held her own. I mean, Nia's been this unstoppable force in almost every one-on-one match. They made it seem like Mickie was going to defeat her, and then the story beat after that is that she's getting a title shot at TLC. So do you think, which is my suspicion, that Mickey's going to get the title at TLC off Alexa, set up the rematch for Asuka at Survivor Series, and that's how Asuka becomes champ?
Nice. I like that thinking.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, Mickie is passing the torch a bit,
For sure, but doesn't Asuka come and debut at pay-per-view?
At TLC, but that's not going to be she's not going to debut with a title match. I mean, I'm sure she'll get a match, but it'll probably be just an exhibition of her dominance.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's, I think that's a pretty good call. Yeah. I'd like to see that happen. I just, again, Mickey's work is so believable. Her everything, punches and kicks, is so believable. And this is the difference between someone who's experienced like Mickie and Nia, who's still, I'm sorry, but cutting her teeth. She's very green still. And it used to happen to me too. This would happen. I was guilty of this to some degree, of being, I guess you would say, green as well. Where I'd be in there with someone like a Benoit or somebody like Kurt or Eddie or someone that was much smaller than me. And if you physically put me next to them, I would look like I would eat them for breakfast and shit them out the next morning. But the thing would be, once the bell would ring, their work was so much more crisp and more believable than me. Their punches, their kicks had more snap. And I would expose myself that I was so new, if you will. And you have to be very careful when you do that with bigger people, That's why she's just got to stick to basic things, as boring as it may seem, so she doesn't show her ass, so to speak, in her greenness. And Mickie, between the two of them, looked like she would whip her ass in a fight. And it shouldn't look like that. You know what I mean? Mickie needs to look like the underdog, which is the way the match and the story was told. But I'm talking as far as physicality goes, and punches and kicks and believability, Mickey's stuff looked a lot more believable.
Yeah, and it looked like Mickie was really trying to sell all of Nia's offense.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes sense, though, right? I mean, they've invested too much in Nia at this point. They certainly are invested heavily in Alexa, in Bayley, and Sasha. If Asuka is going to have to take the crown from someone, I think Mickie makes sense as a transitional champion. Yeah. And it'll be if it's Survivor Series, wasn't it NXT, the same TakeOver Survivor Series last year, or was Mickie versus Asuka at TakeOver?
I know it was TakeOver. I just didn't know when.
Yeah, maybe it was that one. I'm thinking it was that one. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think they'll put on a good match. I thought their match at TakeOver was pretty good last year. So
I love their match at TakeOver.
Yeah. So I think it makes sense. But, Chrono Falco, some of the people in the chat are betting that Asuka will face Emma in her debut. That would not surprise me, given the way that they're keeping Emma alive as a punching bag.
Right.
The butt of the jokes from commentary and whatnot.
Emma will get some stuff, like she'll get a promo or she'll get something where she's bitching and complaining. And, she'll get destroyed.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, she looked good tonight.
Yeah. I have to say,
she looked like a star.
They've definitely built her up at the level, but I think that's the reason why, is because they can't just have it be, that was like when they brought Alicia Fox back. It's like, where's Alicia Fox been?
I know.
It seems like they just bring her out, when they need someone. I was actually surprised it wasn't her, and it was her and not Dana Brooke tonight.
I was happy it was that way,
Yeah. So yeah, Alexa defending Nia, which was interesting, and That whole match, I enjoyed it. I like the storytelling. I like where it's going. After that, big package about Enzo and everything that happened last week.
I'm loving this. I'm digging this story for what it's worth. The entire thing I'm digging. Again, still surprised they turned one of their big merch movers heel. You know what I mean? WWE is usually that shallow as far as how they book. It's more important that the babyface that sells top merch, that kind of thing. And you don't change them, unless you really, really have to. But I'm starting to wonder if we were all kind of like hoodwinked into this whole Enzo has, like, they're trying to punish him, because that's how I was starting to read this. Not tonight, but in general, when he turned heel and how they just been destroying him. I thought, like, okay, he's definitely on TV being punished, if you will. But then I was like, wait a minute, he is right. He is in the last segment. He's in the closing segment of Raw. Like, you don't You don't do that to somebody you're punishing, no matter what you. Even if you go out there and friggin' you had 10 people gang rape the friggin' kid, guess what? he's still in the last segment. I don't care what happens to him. So there is some, what's the word I'm looking for? Believability. They believe in him still, you know, and they see that he's a star, and I just don't think as much punishment as I thought it was at first. And then tonight, I completely erased my doubts on that whatsoever. I just thought, again, he stood out yet again tonight and did another money promo.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that little roast he did at the end, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
First, let's take a moment, give some love to the sponsor of this episode, Dollar Shave Club. So you've heard us talk about it before. Matt, I believe you talked about that you use Dollar Shave Club when getting ready for your pose downs and whatnot. You got hair to remove. It works all over the body.
My pose down. Listen to you. You sound like I'm Lex Luger with his little flexy Lexi thing he would use and pump up before his matches.
What do you prefer? What's your preferred terminology?
Men's physique competitions, okay. Bodybuilding shows. Yeah, not that that's much better. But yeah, dude. Again, I've said this millions of times on this show. I think my back is like a friggin' the size of a movie projector screen, right? So to have to shave that bad boy, my wife freaking hates it. And we'd use a women's razors, we'd use everything you could think of, electric clippers, and straight edge obviously is what you want to use. And what's cool about Dollar Shave Club is I'm still, as we speak, I've got like 20. That's how long these last. I'm still I'm like the new ones that keep getting sent to me keep adding on and piling on to my like big amount that I still have. So I now have like 20 something of those blades. And because that's how long they last. They last longer than they even say they do. I'm being honest. And it's really, really smooth. It's simple to use. You can dry shave really well with this, actually. And you don't have to worry about nicks or cuts or things like that. And again, it's a guy's thing. It's a guy's razor here. It's not, you're not having, like I had to use the damn women's Venus. You know how embarrassing that is? I don't want to use that. And, you know, stealing your wife's razor. Those days are over with. You know, these guys got your problem solved. I totally dig it.
No, absolutely. With Dollar Shave Club, you get high-quality blades and amazing shave butter delivered right to your door for an incredible smooth shave. You know what's awesome? It's the smarter choice, a great shave at a great price, conveniently delivered right to your door. An awesome life hack, a no-brainer choice. You don't have to schlep to the store to get those cheap disposable razors, or borrow your wife's razor, as Matt was just talking about, or spend a fortune on those gimmicky razors with all that shaving tech you don't need. I'm telling you, I shave a couple times a year, and I use it to clean up my beard. And when I use the DSC Executive Razor with Dr. Carver's shave butter, the blade just gently glides. It gives a smooth shave. And we've heard us talk about it before. With the shave butter as opposed to the cream, you could see what you're shaving, which is fantastic if you have any facial hair and you don't want to, end up taking the whole thing off. So we've got a deal for you. For a limited time, new members can get their first month of the Executive Razor with a tube of their Dr. Carver's shave butter for only $5. And that's with free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month. That's a $15 value for only $5. And in your first box, you're going to get that awesome weighted handle, a full cassette of 4 cartridges, and a tube of their shave butter. After that, replacement cartridges ship automatically each month at the regular price, and there are no hidden fees, no commitments. Cancel anytime you like, but you can only get this offer exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/INC. That's dollarshaveclub.com/INC, and we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Let's talk about tonight, the mixed tag team of Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan with Jeff Hardy ringside versus Gallows and Anderson. Is this doing anything for you, Matt? This pairing of Jason and Matt Hardy?
Matt looks like he's hurt. Is it his hip? Is that what everyone always said?
I believe so. I mean, just the years of those spots took their toll.
Okay. I apologize for the train going by in the background. It's like you said, dude. It's sometimes, opposites can attract, or different looks can, add to a tag team. I just don't think this is one of them. At least not yet. I don't think. I mean, Jason Jordan is in a sort of a holding pattern with this for now, and he just needs to keep shining. It doesn't matter what he's being given; he needs to keep shining through. And if they're turning him heel, he's got to keep being put in situations where he's being ultra cheesy and ultra annoying.
Yeah, that's right. Jeff Hardy was not there tonight. I apologize for that. That's why he was there the first time when they did this. Right. So yeah, it's they just look like they picked 2 guys out of the back with Matt and Jason. You know what I mean? Like there's, but they're not even. It's not even like a Golden Truth situation where they look so different that it kind of works. It's just really, really random. Gallows and Anderson got a victory though.
Yeah, I was very surprised at that. I was happy about that, but I was surprised.
What do you think they're doing with them? Do you think they have a plan for Gallows and Anderson?
I hope so, but you never know. I honestly, I don't think so. No, hope so, but don't think so.
Oh man! So after that, Dana Warrior was there tonight and had some breast cancer survivors, which were out in the ring with the women's division. I thought that was a nice moment.
Definitely.
And they do such a good job with this stuff.
They really do.
It's
got to give them credit.
Yeah, it's amazing that some weeks it seems like they can't put together a TV show to save their life.
I know.
But they can create these beautiful moments.
Yeah, seriously.
Man. So I was going off on this on Twitter tonight, but the WWE Intercontinental title match, Roman Reigns versus The Miz. Part of me was bracing myself, and I made the declaration that if The Miz raises Roman's hand after the victory or has to come out and give a "you're the real A-lister" Roman speech, I was going to be done with Raw altogether. So I'm glad they didn't go that route, because doesn't that
would have killed them.
It's the force aspect of it. Thankfully, they didn't do that, and I like that they had Roman beat down the Miztourage before the match even officially began. But what does this mean for the Miztourage? I mean, we got this match, so one-on-one between Roman and the Miz, and then interrupted by Sheamus and Cesaro at the end.
Dude, this is I don't know. I really don't. I think they did nothing wrong. But then again, maybe they didn't do anything right either. I don't know. I'd feel pretty damn pissed off, though, because that's a payday that they're now not going to get. I'm sure, trust me, I'm sure they're going to be involved in this match. They're going to hit the ring, and if they make this 6-man tag go on a little bit longer, they'll have those two hit the Miztourage hit the ring and cause Miz's team to win. And maybe this goes on a little longer. I don't know, but they can't. Somebody messaged me, because everybody messages me before I do the show, and they try to offer their ideas up, you know. And someone's like, "Oh, Miztourage, they should, go and be the new Wyatt family." And I'm like, "What? Like, no, not okay." Bo Dallas, I do want in the Wyatt family.
Oh, absolutely,
I really do, but not Hennig. No way, it doesn't work.
Maybe get artist hair, get a gnarly beard.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, man, let's talk about those Bray promos tonight. They did some different stuff. The first promo we saw, he was muttering to himself. I like that. That was creepy. That was different. But then that last one, so Finn came out, called Bray out. But Bray did that promo, and that overlay. I don't know if that was supposed to be Sister Abigail or what, but it was like, okay, they're pushing the boundary in the envelope with this a little bit, making it a little spookier than normal.
Isn't Sister Abigail like even though she was dead, isn't she like really dead now after Randy Orton lit everything on fire?
I'm assuming it's her spirit, or
but he killed her spirit.
That's true.
According to the Randy Orton debacle.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get the story. So Matt, I know you've given me a hard time about this before. I believe you called me the perfect mark, and not in a good way. But have you seen that Boom Studios has a WWE comic book that's all in kayfabe?
Are we really going to talk about this?
Well, the reason I say this is they've gotten into the Bray Wyatt story. I mean, they treat kayfabe as real in this comic book. The first arc was all about Seth Rollins in the hospital, and the reason he had to ambush Roman at the end of Extreme Rules was because Triple H was keeping... Like, they tell complicated backstories in kayfabe of what we don't see on TV. And so...
it's a cool premise.
Yeah.
Where do you buy this stuff at?
I get it online. I get it digitally. The art, I gotta say, the artwork. So Rob Schramberger, whatever, who does this stuff, the artwork in the comic book blows his stuff away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I would, if I ever wanted to get a print or something nice signed by a superstar, it would be this. It would be something from the comic book. But the reason that we talk about this, and the reason I bring this up, not to incriminate myself as this WWE super fan, but the fact that you're asking stories here that I think it is important that they have. Even if it's a very niche storytelling medium, to elaborate on, because you're right, and they do these things like they have Randy burn down the shack, and it just makes no sense. If then Sister Abigail's back, I thought her spirit was destroyed. So part of what I think is actually cool about the comic book is it makes Bray seem creepy, because they're really, you know, they have him in the compound with all his disciples and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm only a couple issues in. I'm almost caught up to it, but I think that that's the perfect medium for Bray to flesh out this story.
Okay.
You know, but tonight, that was creepy. I wish they would have gone further with it.
Yeah, me too. That was really good.
Yeah, it got my attention. But that being said, if Bray called Finn out for this last pay-per-view for No Mercy is saying, oh, you can't do it in makeup, kind of weird that we're going to have the third go-around Demon, and then Bray maybe he'll do something different or special for his look.
That'd be pretty cool. You know, I'm all about the Demon.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't lose as the Demon. It's happened before, but I think they really need to protect that. Speaking of which, what do you think about the chatter? I'm seeing a lot of concern online about them actually going forward with Finn and Brock, and it just being another way to make Brock seem untouchable before we get Roman's coronation at WrestleMania next year. I
don't think Brock beating Finn Balor does anything for Brock.
Oh, yeah, not at all. But it hurts Finn.
And it kills Finn.
Yeah.
Now, not because losing to Brock can do that to you, but because Finn is still in a very delicate phase, in my opinion, where he still needs to keep getting wins. I know not all wins always matter because it is a scripted business that the rest of the world knows, right? Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, you still got to keep him looking strong and get back to that level that I feel that he kind of dropped down off of from when he got hurt.
Yeah.
You know, he came in with so much promise and fanfare because of his work in NXT and across the world, for that matter. We were all excited to see it, and he delivered in his first night out. Even though he got hurt, that match with Seth, I still go back and watch from time to time. It was so damn good.
It was amazing,
right? And Finn still puts on great matches. There's just something about it that I don't think I don't know. I don't know if the fans see him as a main event act. I do. I just don't think the casual fan that, you know, is in there with their kids, other than maybe one, let's say it's family of four, maybe one of the kids in that four think that.
Yeah.
Where I think all four should be by now. And then I don't know. I think a lot of that has to do with his opponents as well. And then putting these guys in these holding patterns. It's okay. You have to do that. As long as you're on TV each week, that is good. But there's other things they could be doing. And tonight was a good example of that, actually, in my opinion, of stretching this along, but doing it in a creative way. You know, there's nothing wrong with just doing promos. How much have we said how much we would love for that in the tag division? Oh, yeah. Right? They don't keep doing this stupid diagonal crisscross crap, you know, with singles matches. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I thought the promos were good tonight. And, you know, tonight, what it seemed like for the first time was they were bringing Bray up to Finn's level with making it extra creepy. Let's hope, man. Let's hope they do something good for this, because if we're getting a third go round, it sure as hell better be something. It better be worthwhile. And
they're kind of in a pickle because Finn's won the first two, right?
Yeah. So, as the Demon and not as the Demon.
Okay, so it's almost like he has to lose here. And you know what? I just thought of something. Here's basic psychology in wrestling: is that, look at it this way, they know they can't do the Demon every night, so it's more important that they book normal Finn, you know, with wins and looking better and whatever have you, of the perception that normal Finn Balor, Balor Club Finn Balor, is better than the Demon. And if they have him lose as the Demon, I think that's a step in that direction. As far as, the Demon thing is cool, looks great, but Finn without that face paint is just it's just as cool, as maybe even better, because he wins more. I don't know what it is, but psychology-wise, that's how I would write for it, because if they don't want to do the Demon thing week after week. Yeah.
Although, man, something about that is just, I still think so money with the audience. I mean, kids love that makeup.
I want to see it every week. Yeah. Personally. I just don't think for some reason WWE doesn't. Yeah,
I don't know why. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's Gold Dust. Maybe that's why they associate it with that. You know, and Gold Dust and Stardust, and makeup just as a gimmick.
What?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. The history of characters with makeup, I mean, he got Ultimate Warrior, he got Sting. You know, maybe there's some bias there. I don't know. Let's talk about the women's tag match. So Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Emma and Alicia Fox. This match felt like it went on forever.
It did, and I thought the ending of it with what's her name leaving the apron was very lazy booking.
Yeah, with Emma just walking out.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, oh, that fits her character and blah 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 blah. I still think it's lazy booking. But you know, what's happening with Bailey and Sasha though? Aren't they trying to like a slow burn storyline with them?
Since pretty much since Bailey's main roster debut. It seems like that's been.
So is that not a thing? Am I just imagining this?
They've teased it before. I mean, especially at house shows, they've teased it, but I don't think we've got anything concrete. The closest thing we had was the arguing over, you know, whose rightful place it is next to challenge, or Bailey apologizing for, you know, you do what you have to do, that sort of thing. I don't know. It's
right.
pretty weak, but maybe when Asuka arrives, I don't know. I keep hoping we're going to get more women's segment each week and more parallel women's storylines. I think that's one that would be great to tell, especially if Asuka's going to have a long run with that title. We're going to have to do something, you know.
I think the Cruiserweight is a good example that they can do that.
Yeah.
That they can find time if something's hot enough. And what a great example for the roster to watch, by the way, of what's going on with the Cruiserweights and how they're being treated. If you listen, you could be put in any segment and you could still get yourself over.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll get into it, but to Zoe's credit, he does it all the time, man.
Yeah. So, I just want to ask you about this. So, given that match was so long tonight, how often, because it just makes me think this, I mean, did something else drop out tonight? Did they need to go long? I mean, did you ever find that when you were in the WWE that you would just get before you went on? So, like, hey, guys, stretch this out an extra segment?
Bro, all the time. Our Survivor Series match, my very first pay-per-view debut, I was crapping my pants because they took 4 minutes out, and I'm thinking, where are we going to take that out? We have this huge. Go back and watch this Survivor Series 03, guys. Team Lesnar versus Team Angle. You'll see what I'm talking about. At the very finish of that match, we had some really sweet layered bang, bang, bang. Everybody hit their finish on one another, but we did it in such a creative way. It was awesome, and the fans we got a huge reaction from it. But it was supposed to be even more intricate and even cooler. This domino effect of everyone bam hitting each other with their stuff. It wasn't just doom boom boom with move. It was a lot of dips in there as well. It was really, really well done. And we had to take out, like, as we were walking out, they're like, oh yeah, you know, I think it was like we're taking 3 minutes out. And I'm like, well, where are we taking it out at? You know, usually the heels assume the responsibility of taking most of it out of the heat. At least I used to do that. I used to take the majority of the time. The TNA, that happened all the time. I'd go out there and they're like, you know, you're down to 5 minutes. I'm like, well, it says 12 minutes with entrances. So that's a minute of each entrance, usually 30 seconds to a minute with each entrance. So you speed up through your entrance to get to the ring to cut some time, to get some time back in the match, right? And now you just got cut 5 minutes. So if I was a heel, I would usually take a majority of my heat out.
Yeah.
And because my job is to get that baby face over. Even if even if I'm supposed to win, I still want to get my baby face that reaction, the pop, the pop that they get, the shine in the beginning, and then the comeback at the end. So maybe I would take some hope spots out of there as well, because the time has been cut. So there may not need to be as much hope spots as I had previous planned, because 12 minutes down to 5 minutes, you know, you really got to get into it. And sometimes there was one time at TNA where I was down, we were cut to 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Like, how do we even have a match? And I was like, on the way to the ring, I was thinking, I know how to do this. I'm cutting the babyface off immediately and just mauling them and then giving them his comeback at the end.
So what do you do when it's the reverse situation where it's like, guys, we got to fill, go an extra couple minutes?
I wish. I've never been in that predicament.
Really?
I wish I was.
Wow.
But what you do in that moment is because you can't talk to each other out there, in my opinion, and just start being able to layer all these cool false finishes unplanned. You know, That's my opinion. Maybe my level wasn't high enough to do that. Maybe somebody like Lance Storm or somebody could do that. I don't know. But what I would do is I hate to say it, maybe go to some holds for a little bit, a little bit more than you would have normally. I never went to holds, but now I would start if I had extra time. Screwing around, taking my time a little bit more than I would, screw with the fans a little bit, being a heel, different things to eat up time.
I think that makes sense. Because tonight, man, with the women's match, it felt like commentary almost needed the time to get in everything they were trying to build up there with what they wanted to talk about during that match. It was interesting.
One time, that did happen to me, actually. Really? And what I did is I asked on the way, can I talk? Can I get the mic? It was me versus Hernandez. And they said, yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God. So Hernandez is like, dude, talk as long as you need to, please. And We did. We were supposed to have like a 8.5 minute TV match, and we ended up having, I forget where we were touring at the time with Impact, and Impact was doing really well. And I think we ended up getting like 12.5 to 13 minutes. So, 4 minutes is a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So he's like, dude, just keep talking, because we can just do 5 minutes if you really think about it, you know? And I was like, no, dude, we got to give, we got to give these people what they paid to see. You can't just cut your stuff off. Come on.
Yeah.
But I'd eat up time on the mic is basically what I'm saying.
That makes sense. So the quote-unquote main event, the closing segment tonight, was Enzo roasting the cruiserweights, just going one by one out there, cutting a hell of a promo, and then ripping on each of them.
Good.
You're spoiled at the beginning. They bring out someone who can't attack him because of all the different clauses that he can't be attacked, he can't be touched. And who is it? It's Kalisto.
Yeah. That's the reaction.
Oh, yeah. Such a good promo before that. I mean, anyone else.
And he looked out of shape, by the way. And I love me some Kalisto. I know maybe people don't. I don't care. I do. And I didn't like this even, I just didn't. I don't know. You had a good call with Austin Aries. That would have been really badass.
Huge.
To bring, a double back to this.
Yeah, set the match for
and
TLC.
He could talk.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to break it to Enzo. As good as he is, I assure you Austin can handle himself in that ring on the mic with him. That
would have been huge. But nope. Kalisto, I'm wondering if it happens on 205 Live sooner rather than later.
What, the rematch with Kalisto?
Well, yeah, just the title match with Kalisto. Technically, he's the only person in the cruiserweights that can get a title shot at Enzo.
That's brutal. Oh, you know what? I can also see Daivari brother getting a pass because he kind of helped him last week, right?
Yeah.
It was on. I think it was on their cruiserweight show.
205
Live,
Live,
205
which
Live.
I watched last week because I'm invested in the story.
Same here, bro.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I will admit, I fast forward through the majority of it to get to Enzo stuff.
Totally.
But Daivari's brother kind of shined a little bit there, I thought. And Neville did a great job stalking the crap out of him and looking menacing as hell for a little midget, dude. He's if looks could kill, he's got that down packed when he kept sliding out of the ring and beaming a hole through him, and then Daivari's brother would come behind and jump him, There's really good heat in that match. I just, so Daivari's brother, I could see as them forming this pack, and then he can drop the whole thing with, you're my boy, you're my boy. I don't need a no contact rule with you. You ain't gonna jump me. We're a team, kind of. I don't know. They got to find creative ways to get out of this, because other, you know what? It'll probably be. It'll be a universal decision kind of thing where Kurt's like, we need to put on a show, and or Enzo breaks some sort of law or rule that backfires, and then maybe it's what's his name, Neville, that sets it up even. Where there's some sort of clause that Zoe didn't see or didn't know about, and he screws up, and it basically the clause states that everyone gets to whip his ass whenever they want, or you fight for the title whenever.
Yeah, they bring out a big WWE rule book. They're flipping through it. Nothing in here says, it'd be like, yeah. With Kalisto, I don't think Kalisto's winning that belt off Enzo. I think that would be the most pointless exercise in all of this.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
But keep bringing us new cruiserweights. I think that actually would make it interesting. Let's keep this as filler for now. Keep it cooking, and then bring in a real name to win it off Enzo if it can't be one of the current guys.
What sucks, dude, is that like these other guys had a lot of opportunity now.
Oh, yeah.
To portray their character. At first, I used to be like, oh, they're not getting enough time backstage in their promos. We don't know who they are. I'm sorry, guys. You have an entire show around you where they're giving you interview time, tons of match time. The match time, that's your time to get your character over. Just because but they're so stuck on moves sometimes they forget their character. Swan does a great job with his character. We know what he's about. Granted, he's stuck in the 80s, doing a modern day Coco Beware, but I'll digress.
But with better music,
You think so? You like his music?
No, I don't like it, but it gets stuck in my head about once a month, and I'm like, why? What is the song? And then I have to go and listen to it. It's
what I like, Ernest the Cat Miller's music. Somebody tell my mom, was it? Somebody call my mama.
Oh, yes. Oh man. So Yeah, you know, and the other thing about 205 Live and I actually dug this about watching 205 Live. I really watched it for the first time in a long time when the Fashion Police were on a few weeks ago. Tell me what you think of this.
Oh, shoot, I missed it. Damn it, they were on it?
Yeah, they interrupted Drew Gulak's PowerPoint presentation and arrested him. It was very funny.
I would have watched that, actually. Shit.
When I was watching that, it made very clear to me, since very few people are watching 205 Live, I don't think the WWE is paying attention at all. I think it's just letting them do whatever they want on that show, because I think it is a real chance for these guys to shine and take chances, because I don't think Vince is paying attention to it.
Well, they can't just let him go out in free-for-all, obviously.
No. But, I mean, look, Drew Gulak has been giving a multi-point PowerPoint presentation for weeks on that show.
You're right.
So if you can experiment, really push the boundaries.
Yeah.
You know,
and a lot of that comes down to the guys stepping up, going into Vince's office and doing it. The problem is, I think these guys are so stuck on the perception they've read about it online as fans. Like, as a fan, I went online many years before I became a wrestler. I think it was called like Pro Wrestling. Maybe it was just wrestling.com or prowrestling.com, or it was a basic webpage like that, and it was one of the first ones. There was a Raj at WWF.com, I think, as well. These are the ones I remember going to as a fan, as a huge fan, so I think all of us have done that as fans at some point before, many years before we became wrestlers. And I think they've always read over the years that Vince isn't really into cruiserweights. He's into the big guys and this and that. And so I think there's a lot of stigma that these guys are stuck in now, where they're scared to go talk to him or something to that degree. That's the only thing I can think of, because you guys, when you get an opportunity to have your own show to feature you, this is the opportunity. Even if it's not Vince's idea and it's Hunter's idea, it doesn't matter. This is the opportunity to you have his attention at this point. It's a brand new show, so trust me that you do have Vince's attention. That's your chance to kick his door open. He wants people to come in his office all the time and challenge him. He really does. And I think the cruiserweights are stuck in that stigma of, well, he hates us, he doesn't like us, he's not going to watch us, he's not going to care about us. Make him care about you. Try it. What do you have to lose? Otherwise, you're just going to be fired and let go 6 months to a year anyway, and you'll be kicking yourself for not doing this. So any of you that are watching this, don't let that happen, man. Kick that door in, and I'm not just blowing smoke. I really mean it. My stuttering character was god awful. I hated, I didn't like the idea, but the one thing I did have was a constant interaction with Vince every single week, multiple times, about the persona and, more importantly, my performance. I was still improving in the ring at the time, so I'd come back through the curtain. Snitsky used to do this too. I used to hear it on Raw as well. And I come to the curtain and I go, get his opinion real quick before we talk afterwards. And he'd give me thumbs up or thumbs down. And beforehand, he'd be in all my pre-tapes because I made him. It was his idea and his baby, so he was definitely invested in it. But I'd ask him so many different things, so many questions, that he'd be on the opposite side of the camera more times than not on my backstage pre-tapes. And I made him invest in it a little bit more. It was just, unfortunately, not the right gimmick. It was the right gimmick for the wrong guy. That's the truth.
I feel like if they read stuff about Vince, it's this idea of, the legend of Vince McMahon, and what they take away from that is that they're afraid of him. But they don't. Why don't they read the things like Jericho having to tell Kofi, if you don't get in his face and challenge him to a fight, he's never going to respect you?
Because you get in that spot, man, and it's, do I jump, do I not? And your heart's racing. I swear to you. I've had this happen. I had the same type of thing on a much different level with one of the veterans there, whose ass I wanted to stomp right into the ground. Because they never really mess with me, but one of them was trying to mentally screw with me, if you will. And I just wanted to. I wanted to kill him and pulverize him and just get it over with, and tell him to come to the parking lot and fight me. Nobody has to watch. You know what I mean? Nothing to lose here. Come on. And I wanted to do it so bad. I was on the fence. Do I not? Looking back, I wish I did. But it's the same kind of thing for these guys. They're on that fence of, do I do it? Do I not? Do I not? And just do it. You'll be so disappointed in yourselves if you don't, guys, because this is your career here, And the thing with Kofi was even Jericho. Jericho was considered a cruiserweight. Granted, he had a huge fanfare, much different story. I get that when he came in, but he still was considered undersized. So was Benoit. So was all these guys. You've got to keep a dialogue with Vince. Everyone says it is the truth, and it's not hard. It's not. He's not. I don't understand why people are intimidated by him. He's not going to beat you up. Like, what's going to happen?
What a story. Look, in this day and age, could you imagine if the story was you got fired from the WWE because you just like smacked Vince McMahon in the face?
You'd be super over everywhere you work.
Oh my God, New Japan, just Ring of Honor. You could just name your price for indie bookings.
You know what I mean? There's nothing much crazier or tougher than that.
Yeah, seriously. I'm just saying. So we got a ton of questions from people here, and they want to know about your Hell in a Cell predictions that is coming up this Sunday on the WWE Network. The big one that people are asking, man, is how do you think the Shane versus KO match is going to go?
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know enough to know how long the story's going to go. Do you see what I'm saying? If the story's going to go on, well, obviously Shane has to lose. Shane can never win. Shane can never win any of these matches, in my opinion. Yeah. He's not a wrestler. Now, if he was the heel and KO was the face, you know, I could see, you know, the heat that Shane would get being a non-wrestler and somehow like Vince versus Stone Cold and somehow Stone Cold slipping on a banana peel and Vince, you know, tripping on his chest and covering him for 3 seconds. Like that draws heat, but that's not what this is. Shane's the babyface. He can't win. He cannot beat any of these wrestlers, in my opinion. It totally devalues these guys. Yeah, but it's going to be an exciting match, though. It's going to be a crazy good match.
Oh, I'm sure. And people in the chat room have predicted it. You know, Shane's going to get a great spot jumping off the cell, and KO is going to win. Yep, and KO is very inventive, so I think it's going to be versus Taker. He did the crazy bump off the top. I think with this, because you know. Taker was toward the end of his career there, right? With that match, dead toward the end of his tour. Is banged up, screwed up, hip surgeries, things like that. So there's only so much he could do, right? With KO, he's very inventive, very creative, and I think he's going to have Shane do a couple cool things, in my opinion, a couple of exciting things. But again, you don't watch these for just the moves. But then let's be honest, there's part of us that do. Yeah. Oh. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? Back when I was a wrestler, I'd be like, oh, dude, great. So the guy comes in and does one huge move at the top, basically steals the audience for the night with the huge pop that they gave. And they're never going to pop like that again for the rest of the night if I've still got to wrestle, you know? And, but I'm not lying. The fan in me is interested to see what he does, even if it's just one move, you know? It's honest. Yeah, it's interesting that that's the Hell in a Cell match. The paired with dude, how much more heated could one? What was more heated? Absolutely, no. I mean, it's interesting that headline. I mean, yeah, I know it was great. It's been a great build-up. I'm curious where it goes after this. I mean, is it going to be Shane shaking Kevin's hand? You won my respect. I don't think they're going to kiss and make up like he did with AJ. You know, me either. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, KO might be going back to Raw. I think that's the only logical conclusion to this. But who knows? Wow. We could be surprised. The other cell match is the New Day versus the Usos, with the New Day putting their titles on the line. So it's a tag team championship match, but in a cell this time. Babyface is usually got to come on top. So I'm going to say New Day comes out. Yeah, maybe they get a new opponent and a new feud after this, although the Usos have been great, but I think each of them could sustain their own feud. Yeah, and I mean, I'd love to see the Usos win. I just don't think they will, you know? Yeah. They've ping-ponged that belt back and forth, man. It could happen again. But at what point does it become irrelevant? Okay, so Jinder with the Singh brothers versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. What do you mean with the Singh brothers? It's 3-on-1? Well, no, but Jinder is going to have the Singh brothers. The accompanied. Okay, yeah, sorry. This may be the time Nakamura wins with the title. Don't you think? I think a Nakamura promo sounds downright pleasant compared to how uncomfortable these Jinder promos have gotten. The fans said it uncomfortable, right? Oh my God, that's too far. Oh, no, you went too far. That's right. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think this is where Nakamura wins. Yeah, and maybe we get a silent champ for a while. Maybe Nakamura just comes out and, you know, he's charming just with a smile alone. I still want my boy to be the champion, but I just think it's the move, you know, just to give Nakamura a legitimate, bona fide chance at the top. And nobody can say WWE didn't try anything. If they put the title on him, and yes, it's important to how you book him after. It absolutely is. But there is that lack of, you know, he doesn't speak English. I've said it from day one. You've got to be able to speak English to
even with the British wrestlers, I've said that. Remember, some of them had like really the guy from Scotland, with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
His accent is so strong, and it's a shame because he has a lot of passion behind when he cuts his babyface promos. And to me, as a fan, a lot of it gets lost in translation with that thick accent. Now I keep thinking, wait, what did he say? I didn't hear that clearly, you know. And so now you have Nakamura, who knows what the hell he's saying half the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know why these guys don't. This might sound silly, but like, why are they not taking like ESL out the yin yang? Like, why are they not doing everything possible to study English and try to, you know, improve their accent, if you will, of while speaking our language?
When he was on Talking Smack, was it? Or there was some backstage interview where
And everyone thought he did good. He was more relaxed, and his accent wasn't as there. I remember it going. I still think he's incredibly. His accent's still incredibly there. I don't necessarily understand.
Oh, it's still there. Saying. But Matt, do you speak any foreign languages?
¿Cómo se dice? I'm making stuff up.
I do not. I failed.
I'm making stuff up.
I've retained 0 of the French and Spanish that I took. But here's my thought about it: is that it would be easier to piece together things in your own words than to remember, perhaps even phonetically, a line that was given to you. That's the only explanation that I could have for why he flows better when he's just speaking off the top of his head. That's my.
And I want him at the top. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He love Nakamura.
Yeah,
love Nakamura. Man, I don't know. I just think I still, as a fan, I'm still grateful, by the way, that I'm still able to watch this as a fan after all these years. But I still am able to put that hat on and watch it as a fan. And as a fan, I still have that separation still. That's not, the bridge has not, you know, that gap has not been bridged, if you will, for me yet. And it needs to. He needs to improve upon his English. Or guess what? Just don't ever have him talk. And have somebody maybe, but you can't do that as a babyface. It doesn't work. You can't have a manager do your talking, really. Yeah. Unless you're like a big jacked up dude, then it's different. But his charisma, his personality comes through without him talking English. So there's something, I don't know.
I agree with that.
To that.
So Natalya is defending the women's championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, against Charlotte. Do you think this is Charlotte's night?
Not yet. I think the next go around, yes. I think there'll be a next go around after this, and I think that's when it happens. Okay, I'd love to see Charlotte win it.
Oh, I think it's inevitable. The question is just, when's Carmella going to cash in?
They can. You know what's crazy about that? That is so they so book that usually by the seat of their pants when somebody cashes it in. Like, I would say 7 out of 10 times, it's, wouldn't this be a good, someone in the room would just go, wouldn't this be a great time for Del Rio to cash in now? Or wouldn't this be a great time for Dolph to cash in now? MSG, you know, that's literally how it works. More times than not. Now, other times, like when Ken Anderson, I remember Ken Kennedy won the thing, he had a whole, you know, planned out 6 months to a year's worth of storyline. I remember him telling me, you know, after he would have cashed in and won the title, you know. It's just a shame he got injured, but you know, so sometimes it's like that.
Yeah. AJ Styles defending the U.S. Championship against Baron Corbin.
Hey, does this cut my eyes off when I'm talking like this?
Oh, does it? Let me see. Yes, that does.
Fans, I apologize because I'm watching myself on the big screen on my phone.
Oh no, on the big screen you're fine. No, now it's fine there.
But when I go to this one, it was like the Rolling Stone logo, you know?
Yeah. Like
just lips in him, you know, and just a mouth there.
Anonymous Tinder profile.
Yeah. So sorry to my fans that don't want to see that. Geez Louise, I'm horrible. I apologize. Ask your question again. I didn't hear it.
So your boy Skullet versus AJ Styles for the US Championship.
Skinny fat.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not the right one to ask about him because I think I am so. I'm all about young talent and new talent. I am, but he cannot beat AJ. You cannot have this kid beating AJ Styles. I'm just sorry. It's not there yet. You know, and AJ's in a holding pattern. You know, he's still having amazing matches night after night. Need to get his ass back up in the main event where it belongs. that Nakamura match is going to make the place explode when they decide to pull that trigger. That'd be a cool Mania match if they do it the right way.
Yeah.
Nakamura AJ, if they do it the right way, take their time.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us are just waiting for at this point. Pull SmackDown out of its funk.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, dude, I don't know what your thoughts have been about the Ziggler thing, but I got to say, by him not coming out last week ahead of time and just doing the Undertaker thing, he got me for a second with trolling. Finally, because he didn't come out there ahead of time and announce he was going to do that, you know?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's trying to trick people. It's just all, you know what it is. It's all about him desperately trying to blame the fans for, and I partially, Dolph kind of had a cool entrance at one point. He had a pretty, I don't know if it's entertaining the word. I would never be entertained by an entrance other than Undertaker's, and the Demons. I love his entrance. Kane's I used to love too, but it's just. I don't know, man. What do you think?
Well, Rude's winning this match. I mean, for sure.
Match-wise, let's be very clear. Yeah. How many times have I said I would pay money to see when Bobby Roode was still with Impact? I said, everyone said this, but I swear I was one of the first. I swear to God, when I was still with TNA, that Bobby versus Dolph Ziggler, I would pay top dollar to watch because they both are bumping, feeding heels, meaning. They're bumping, feeding heels. Watch Billy Gunn for an example. He's the best bumping feeder in the business I've ever seen in my life. And the dude was 6'5" and 280. It's incredible speed and endurance. But same with these two. But they're just such good workers. Like, they're at a whole different level. And this is the perfect foil and opponent for Dolph. Bragging about always, being the best in between the ropes and no one could touch him. Bobby Roode sure could. And it's going to be, they're both like identical, like mirror images of each other. As far as they never mess up. Everything they do is spot on and perfectly crisp. Dolph's got a little bit more athleticism to him with a drop kick and things like that. But Bobby, in my opinion, can work submissions, work a hold a little bit better, work a little bit better ring psychology to some degree. I would like to see this flipped around in a perfect world. I'd like to see Dolph be the face and Bobby be the heel because that's the best, in my opinion. That was my favorite Bobby Roode.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Rude as a face.
It's weird seeing him smile, isn't it?
Yeah,
like coming out,
Because it's like smug. To me, it always comes across as smug, but that's great about him. I mean, I love that about him. But it's not as a baby face. And then what'll probably be the opening match.
This match is, by the way, my prediction is this match steals the show and then some, and that's including that chain bump.
And that's for Hell in a Cell. Wow, that's a bold prediction, but
it really is. It's a non-Hell in a Cell match. They're going to steal it.
And then Randy Orton versus Rusev.
I couldn't care any less, but good on Randy for trying to get another, can't really call Rusev that young, right? But non-main eventer, up to his level. I appreciate that.
No, definitely. And we're going to be here Sunday night right after Hell in a Cell ends on the East Coast to cover it all. Me, Matt, and Raj talking about it.
Is it this Sunday?
It's this Sunday. You good this Sunday or you got something?
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome. So quickly, someone's asking the question. I don't know if we've talked about this with you on the podcast, Matt, but got to say, they're asking, what do we think about the idea of sending Finn to 205 Live?
No way. Hell no. Absolutely out of the question. No. It'll make 205 incredible. Okay, sure. If that's your goal, then great. But I'm sorry. Call me selfish. Finn Balor is bigger than 205 Live.
Yeah.
Like having it's getting dark. Having a bona fide main eventer and a future WrestleMania main eventer thrown into that and maybe never return from it. No, it's like the abyss. No, Enzo's making it work because he's incredible on the mic and he can get over anywhere, anytime, just with his mouth. Finn, not as much. He's good, but he's not on that level.
Yeah,
that Chris Jericho level of no matter what, he can always get his steam back.
I mean, I said a few weeks ago after the Fashion Police thing, I could see them sending all the internet favorite guys, the Fashion Police, Sami Zayn, a bunch of those guys at 205 Live. But I think that will be the last, death throes of 205 Live right before they pull the plug to try and make it, essentially the network's version of the ECW revival or something. Good
call. I would go, let me go back to that. You want to say I made me have a heart attack with that one. Finn Balor going to 205. No, absolutely out of the question. I would drive to Stamford, Connecticut myself and kick their damn door down. The other thing I was going to say about this was I think I think the girls' match is going to surprise a lot of people as well. It's not going to be better than obviously the the main stuff, obviously, Shane versus KO or something like that. But I think it's going to be really, really good. The girls have quietly been putting on really good matches on SmackDown. My opinion, at least the ones I've been watching.
Yeah. No, I mean, and God, they put all of the women in the same match so much at the time that, man, I just want just give me two parallel women's storylines on SmackDown. I feel like they don't know how to do more than one story a week on that show.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man. So before we take it home here tonight, Matt, anything you want to plug? You got a lot going on.
Yes, I have been campaigning my tail off on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, basically. All day, all night. This Sunday I won't, because I'll be doing the pay-per-view podcast, obviously, with you guys and watching the show. But, oh, my God, let me tell you how tiring that is. It is so tiring, but it's worth it, I could pay people to go out and do that on my behalf and paper neighborhoods. I just think it's super phony. And I think if you're going to beat the incumbent, these people need to hear from me in person and hear my ideas from me, not from people I'm paying to represent me and probably don't even care about me. They're just doing it for $10 an hour, And but as far as plugs go, definitely, guys, if you could continue to help me out, my campaign, we've got these absentee ballots coming out. And those can make or break an election. My opponent basically won the election last time, coming from behind, because he won the absentee ballot race, basically, if you will. So I need guys help with the campaign. As far as if you can donate, any amount helps, guys. Seriously, Raj and both you, Glenn, thank you so much for your incredible generosity and helping your boy out. The fans, guys, I've been good to you forever. I've been very blunt. I've been very honest with you guys, even at expense of a job one day. You know what I mean? With either company, because what you see is what you get from me. So in turn, I've never asked any of you for help for anything. Anybody ever asks an autograph, I mail it to them almost immediately. Still to this day, even out of the business, and anything you guys ever ask, I do. So I'm asking you to help your boy Matt out here. And go to mattmorganforlongwood.com, F-O-R, not this, mattmorganforlongwood.com. It's so simple. All you have to do is literally click on one button as far as how much you want to donate, and then that's it. It's so simple. And every bit helps, because we need to start putting out my mailers in the mail. That's super expensive to do, and you can't use your own money to do any of this. Every bit of money in my campaign is coming from, it has to come from legally, donations, so no one person can give more than $1,000, so it's not that easy. I've been very blessed by a couple of wrestling friends of mine that have really stepped up to help me. Kevin Nash could not thank him enough. Kurt Angle, didn't even have to ask them, hardly, you know what I mean? They were just so supportive and so proud of me, for wanting to do this. And, but with that, again, it's mattmorganforlongwood.com. Guys, please help me out. I really want to win this race bad, and I really need to raise enough money to be able to take care of those mail-ins. Mail-ins are what you send out in the mail with what you're about, why you're running, and you want to do it right as you get closer to the absentee ballots being mailed out. So when they get the absentee ballots in the mail, they say, who are you voting for, Matt Morgan or his opponent? They have my mailer right there at the same day, you know what I mean, to remind them about me again. It's kind of like that, if you will. So it's important that I raise the money to be able to afford those. Also, obviously, guys, you guys have been hitting me up a little bit on this one. Your Nutritional Blueprint. Go to yournutritionalblueprint.com and look, it's finally open, the website. It's officially launched. It's so simple to order. Customize your meals. DM me if you need help with it. But guys, don't BS me. Don't just try to, DM me to start a conversation with me. Start a conversation with me about wrestling. I'll talk to you about that. You know that. You don't have to go this way and talk about, hey, I want to do this, and then waste my time if I try to give you a diet. And they're like, okay, I'll keep this in mind. And come back and say, no, jabroni. It doesn't work that way. Don't waste my time. If you really are serious about getting in shape, it starts with your diet. Look at my pictures on Instagram. I'm 41 years old. I've never been more shredded, been more jacked, never been more healthier, never had my blood pressure be as low as it is. It's the diet, guys. It's not lifting. It ain't the cardio. That's a part of it, but a very, very small part. For me, I've always tell people, like, it's been 75 to 80% of how I changed my body was my diet. 6 meals a day, every 3 hours. I'm eating ground turkey. I'm eating jasmine rice. or ground bison, jasmine rice. It's not exciting, but it doesn't need to be. I don't look at eating as exciting. I look at eating as like I do working out. It's my job to get this done so I can look better. And if you treat it that way, you can change your body like that. And I can help you do it. So go check out yournutritionalblueprint.com. That's yournutritionalblueprint.com. Each meal, guys, is $7 a pop. That's nothing. That's the cheapest in the industry. And we give you weighed out food, whatever portions you ask for. If you need 2.5 grams of whatever, we measure it for you properly. Other companies don't do that. So again, yournutritionalblueprint.com and Matt Morgan for Longwood.com. You guys like me on the show? Help me out and show me by helping me out through the donations, please. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. We will be back here on Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, to talk about SmackDown Live, the go-home show for Hell in a Cell, and of course, myself, Raj, and Matt, Sunday night, right here, Wrestling Inc. Stay tuned. All the Hell in a Cell news, everything coming up, building up to the show, the pay-per-view on Sunday, and we'll be here to recap it right after it ends. So until next time, folks, I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
This is Shooter's Tour.